Welcome to the Inner Huddle, a youth football development podcast for parents, coaches and managers of young aspiring footballers. Your hosts from Pezza Street Soccer are Pez and Jeff.
Welcome to the Inner Huddle. I'm Pez, he's Jeff, and we're joined by former professional footballer Andy Reid. Do you want to go for it, Jeffrey?
What are the biggest changes you've seen in the game since you started, and what are the best and worst?
Interesting.
Yeah, well, I think we've probably, we've touched on both. I mean, the changes are, the sports science, nutrition, the fitness, the attention to detail, the preparation, and the match analysis, I would say.
Is it all good though? Are they all good changes? I remember
I think
Charlton seeing all the stats coming out, what they called, I can't remember the term of them now, but you get your stats every week of how far you'd run. Pro zone as well as I thought. All your stats, and I was thinking, well, yeah, maybe I'm not going to dig you out here, but Reid might not have run as far as some of the others, but look what he did on the ball, intelligent pass.
They need to be taken in the right way, and they need to be looked at in the right way.
Because it's all in the eye of the beholder and how you interpret it.
I think they're very, very useful, and I think they're very, very important, as long as they're used in the right way.
Will you use them when you go into management, if you get into management, which we'll come on to a bit later?
Of course I will, I definitely. I mean, I think they most certainly have the place. I think they're vital.
But do you think it might be one of the reasons why there's not these characters you talked about in the game anymore, because it's kind of Moneyball type?
Well, this brings me on to the worst bit, what I've touched on already, is the lack of characters. And so I suppose there's trade-offs, there's some things that are going to be better, some things that are going to be worse. But I think match preparation, knowing who you're playing against, and match analysis are massive. I think the analysis side of the game is it has become huge, and rightly so. Everybody knows every single detail about players that they're playing against, and then you review your game. What did we do not so well that we can improve on, and what did we do well that we can take into the next game?
Take a lot of time in that, don't they? Analysis and preparation, and there's a big team there.
And I'd be very, very keen to stress as well, I think a lot of coaches and a lot of managers, when they look at analysis and when they do analysis, they're looking at bad things, right? What did we do wrong and how can we improve it? And they miss trick a little bit. What did we do really, really well, and how can we replicate it, and how can we improve on that?
Because that's the mentality of the
individual. It's the mentality of the individual looking at it,
But the exciting thing from someone going into management, the exciting thing is that balance. Where do you find your own balance? Are you going to go high on stats and analysis, or are you going to go more on characters? And that, I guess, what can excite you going into the game, because you want to find your own balance.
I think you can have both. I think you can have characters in. You can tell the characters, I need you to run a little bit more.
Certainly,
Or you can tell the character, I need you to not run so much, because I need to hold that position for me.
Yeah.
You're running around way too much, and you're covering too much ground. So when we give away the ball, you're not in the position that I need you to be, so don't run so much.
Here's an interesting question. I mean, we've talked about it before. I won't mention any names, but there were some players when we were at Charlton who were great trainers and would have amazing stats, might not give the ball away, might run more ground, but when it came to match day, disappeared. I suppose that's the courage.
That's the mentality thing. You can go out on the training ground and you can feel all right. I can try something, but then you get in front of 40,000 people. Go and do it then, and that's the measure of a good top class footballer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where they're playing. It doesn't matter whether there's 20 people down the park or whether there's 80,000. The right thing is the right thing to do for them, and that's the difference. And I've seen that throughout my career so much. Training ground players, It
must be players you've trained with and you thought, my God, he's decent.
Yeah.
And then you want him to be like that on match day because you're desperate for 3 points. Where are you?
Yeah. And he may as well have been sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Or he may as well have not even been there that day. He may as well have just trained Monday to Friday and stayed at home on a Saturday.
If that happens to you, if you do go into management, how do you think you'd help a player like that? Would you see a psychologist?
Psychologist would be one way of going it, because you know that the person's got the ability, so you know that it's not ability that's letting him down, it's the mental side of the game. So that's something that you need to work on. You maybe have to help his confidence a little bit. It could be a confidence issue, but again, confidence is a mental side. So, you really need to nurture that. And it takes me back to the point that I made. You need to train your brain.
Yeah. Environment might not just suit you either, might it? I mean, you've had players at Chelsea, Mo Salah and people, and the environment probably wasn't all the right timing, plus the environment.
Timing, is a big thing as well. So, yeah, it's an interesting one.
Good question. Jeffrey, should we go with number 12, I think it is?
Yeah. You're starting out on hopefully a long journey in coaching. What sort of coach would you like to be, and do you have a definite philosophy in what you're doing?
I do, yes. Listen, if you're talking about specific tactics, I want my team to play out from the back. I want my centre backs to split. I want my full backs to push on. Most football.
Does that fall under?
Most football ideal people want to do that. Now, that's not always realistic. Right. So, as a coach, you have to know that I'm not going to be able to play off from the back. If you play off from the back every single time, opposition are going to know that they're going to push men up there to stop you. You're going to give away the ball and start conceding goals. So, how do you combat that? Well, one way that you might combat that: play off from the back when they push up. Dink a ball, miss out the midfield, play it into the centre forward's chest, and have runners going off him straight away. The opposition's back four are going to be saying, "Hang on a second, I need you to come back in here." They drop off another 10 or 15 yards. You can play off from the back again. So ideally, you want to be a footballing team playing off from the back, but you need to win games of football as well.
You need to have the players to play your system as well.
Do it as well. So all these things come into account. But when you talk about philosophy, I suppose you're asking about your ideals, and I want to have a passing team. I want a team that presses high at the pitch, that wins the ball back. I want I want a lot of I want players that are brave, and I want players that are prepared to put themselves on the line for our cause.
Great stuff. I'll go with 13 because I can see here it mentions Charlton Athletic. When we were at Charlton, I used to love watching you play. Oh, I must have written this one from the bench. We'll get that. What struck me early on was how you always wanted the ball and you were always scanning. It didn't matter what game, what scenario, where you were on the pitch or who the opposition was. I suppose this goes back to the mental toughness from earlier. Where do you think you developed this confidence from? You showed great mental strength and moral courage, which I put there. You always wanted the ball. Didn't matter if we were 2-0 down or 1-0 up, raining, cold Tuesday night at Stoke, didn't matter.
Yeah, because that was my game, was getting on the ball. So I always believed that if I'm going out on the pitch and I'm not looking for the ball, then what am I doing? What am I contributing here? It was my aim to get on the ball, and it was my role in the team to get on the ball and to help create.
But there's plenty of players like that who look wonderful when they're winning 2 or 3-0, but when they're 3-0 down, 2-0 down, which we were a few times,
times.
they go missing.
Yeah, I suppose it's something that was just ingrained in me. I really believed that.
Was it something you were aware of at the time? I mean, it stuck out a mile for me.
I don't know if maybe not at that age. Maybe when I got a little bit older, I was more aware of it. At that age, what was it? Probably about 23, 24 then, maybe something like that. I just went out and played football, and I didn't.
Can't play football without the ball, so you want the ball, I guess. It's innocent as that.
I just went out and played football, and I didn't really think too much about it. It was only as I got older that I started to think about it, and I started to realise that, that I do want the ball. And we spoke earlier about somebody, and we run about how the crowd might affect you, or how the media might affect you. And I was never bothered about that, because I knew that what I was trying to do was the right thing. I didn't always do the right thing. I made loads of mistakes, but I always believed that I was trying to do the right thing. So I was never bothered about what the crowd were having a go at me.
So you can cut out all the other noise.
And always, obviously, it's always nice to get adulation from the crowd, but you can't get too carried away with that either. So you've got to find that happy medium. You've got to find that balance. You can't be bothered about what if people are shouting at you, telling you how rubbish you are. Or the other way, you shouldn't really get too carried away with, if people tell you how great you are. Believe in what you're doing. Believe that you're trying to do the right things, and continue to do them week in, week out.
Don't get too low when in the down bits. Don't get too high in the high bits.
Try to find that happy medium, and then I think you produce your best football.
With us, though, I mean, that's at the top level once you've already made it. But we see it in youth football, very young age. Players hiding when the chips are down, and it's kind of, have you always wanted the ball all your life?
I always have, because that's what I never understood. I found it difficult to understand why people wouldn't want the ball, because, we're playing football here. Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
what the object of playing football is to get the ball and do
something.
With it, you know what I mean?
Try and get the round thing in the net, and you need to make something happen to do it.
Stripping it right back to the bare bones of football.
With my scouting hat on, I get, this kid's great, he's brilliant, he's so talented, and then you might go and watch him, and the team win 5-6-0, and he's outstanding, he's always on the ball. But what you really need to see is what he's like
when they're 3-0 down, and are they still demanding it and saying, I'm going to make something happen now, I've gone 3-0 down.
But sometimes you'll go and see a kid in that environment and he'll go absolutely missing. Yet parents and other people connected with the child think, but look how amazing he was in that game, he needs to be signed. And it's difficult to speak to someone about their kid maybe not having the right character at that time. And it's a big thing for me
it's that happy medium, and it's a difficult one to kind of put your foot on, but it goes back again to the mentality thing.
Yeah. But how do you think we can help those kids improve that mentality? Do you think?
Well, things like like if you're talking about what yous are doing here now, the psychologist.
Yeah.
And what yous need to do is you need to see psychologists as well.
Yeah. Well, I study psychology and child psychology. I'm always reading and studying the game.
Yeah. So you have a psychologist coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Go and speak to her and say to her, how do you think you can help us? Because it's coaches have to improve. Coaches have to get better all the time. Coaches have to find new ways of not just improving players, but improving themselves as well.
I always get hammered because I've said it quite often on our show. Football, I think, is actually the easy part of it all. Getting techniques from kids through practice and working hard, and everyone kind of knows what they should be practicing, and then it's down to the individual whether they do and how much they do it. But the real difficult part is the psychology, which is why I'm so interested into it in the moment. Which I hadn't realised when I first started out on my coaching journey.
And if you look at this what we're doing here and all these questions, how many times have we come back to mentality on this?
Yeah, massively. It's been the running theme through the whole thing, isn't it?
And it's not a coincidence. It's really not a coincidence.
Right, I think we're almost out. We've got a few sort of quick-fire ones by the looks of it. Jeff, do you want to go first? It's number 14 here on your sheet.
Yeah, I think kids asked a similar question, but this could be of all time, I guess. Who was your favourite player?
Diego Maradona, without question.
Still now?
Absolute genius. Yeah, I just love. I know
because he had character as well.
Yeah. And I know you look him now and you see some of the things he done in the World Cup, and you're like, "Come on, Diego, what are you doing?" But I just love the fact that he's got the ability.
He had a great dog called Diego as well.
It is, a dog called Diego, named after Maradona. But it was just he had all the ability, but he had that bit about him as well. He wasn't perfect. He had flaws.
And can you imagine being that good in that era, though, on poor pitches with, in the Italian league, the way they used to hammer you and smash you?
I mean, I've seen some of the things they've done on the pitch. I watched a documentary on him there recently, and it was like the ball was glued to his foot. And I'd like to think that my close control was good, my first touch was good, but I'm looking at this guy and I'm thinking, there's levels.
Yeah, there's always levels.
There's levels, and then there's Maradona.
Yeah.
He's so absolutely phenomenal.
Do you think he would be? I know what I think of this, but if he played now with the pitches and the game he would be up there, obviously, and better than Messi and Ronaldo, and scoring equal stats.
Well, he'd be up there with them, definitely. Definitely would be up there with them. He'd probably be in a bit more trouble than because they come across. In the days of camera phones and things, he might be in a bit more trouble.
Yeah, just a bit. And interesting, right? Number 15. Who is your favourite player now? So I presume that means that's still playing out there and you like to watch.
Who do I like?
Who excites Andy Reid?
I have to say, I like watching Hazard play.
Yeah.
I have to say, I really like. I really like. I mean, it's easy to kind of say Ronaldo, Messi.
Yeah, let's take them out of the equation.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean,
who's the next generation coming through?
You know, everybody knows that. I think, if I love watching Modric playing. I really enjoyed watching him play in the World Cup. I thought he was excellent. I just love how he dictates play and how he. One thing that I love watching about Modric is that he dictates the pace of the game.
He's a real footballer's footballer. If you've played the game, you know how good he is.
In games of football, and you can feel it when you're playing. Sometimes they move really, really quickly, and sometimes it slows right down. And people think that just happens. That players within the game,
orchestra,
make that happen. Yeah. And Modric does it as good as anybody. If Real Madrid or Croatia, for that matter, are 3-0 up, he'll slow the game down and they'll keep the ball, and you won't be able to get the ball back off them. If they're 1-0 down and they need to get a goal, he'll be moving the ball quicker.
Yeah, the conductor of the orchestra,
and he'll be passing the ball forward, and it's a real skill.
I wouldn't have had him down on your list though.
I think he's an excellent footballer.
I wouldn't have guessed that one.
For that reason,
great part.
For that reason, I think it's a real skill in itself, being able to dictate the pace of a game.
I think you might have just answered question number 16.
Yeah, definitely have.
Who would you recommend young players to watch?
Yeah, probably. Listen, obviously everything is position specific. It depends on how young they are. If they've already developed into a position, then you should always look at who's doing well and who's doing the right things in your position. But Modric, for that reason, would be somebody that I would say, watch him.
Jeff?
Since retiring, do you actually get to watch more games?
Well, yeah, not so many first team games as such. I go and watch a lot of under 18 games because that's where that's what I'm working at now with the 18. So I go and watch a lot of them and see what they're doing. I love watching football, and my enjoyable time is taking my lad to watch football.
What, live games?
Yeah.
Does he like watching it on the TV? Because some kids don't, do they?
Yeah, I mean, he watch it for a bit, and then he'll see something in a game, and then he'll pick up his ball and he'll probably go and try it, and then miss the rest of the game. So but going to watch live games, because when you're playing football, you don't really get the fan side of it, because you're not wrapped up in playing, and it's quite nice to take him to a game and experience.
Is Oscar still a Forest fan, or? Yeah,
he loves Forest. Yeah, we've been down to a couple of games already.
There's a bit of pressure in the other side of the family for Derby, isn't it? Which causes a little bit of banter sometimes. That is definitely a red.
Oh, he's definitely a red. Yeah.
Question 18. What are you doing now, work-wise? Obviously, we've touched on a lot of this, but maybe a media side of things and stuff.
I'm doing quite a bit of media stuff. I do a lot of commentary for games, and that's another. When I say go and watch games, I'm still working, but I'm kind of commentating on games for some of the Irish radio stations, which is good. It's a different side of it. It's not something that I'm mad keen on. I enjoy it. It gets me watching games. So I do that quite a bit. I do some sports shows and some stuff like that. The media stuff is good. Do
you enjoy it?
Yeah.
You're keeping busy, obviously.
Yeah, keeping busy. I do enjoy it to a certain extent. It's not something, I'm really, really keen to develop my coaching a lot further and get into management. But, when I retired, I was still finishing off my coaching badges. I felt I needed just a little bit of time out of the day-to-day stuff in football, the injuries. I found them really difficult, so I needed a little bit of a breakaway, and a good way of keeping within that game was to do some of the media stuff, and the more I'd done, the more I was asked to do. So that's kind of kept me busy in the meantime while I'm looking to to really expand my coaching experience now.
You sound very hungry to to learn as much as possible. So are you ready now if the right job came up or anything, or do you just want a bit more learning, or are you just going to take it as it comes?
Listen, I need to learn. It's a completely different craft, managing to playing. People sometimes think, you play, you can manage. It's a completely different thing. There's so much more goes into it than what you think. So you kind of almost need to step back away from your playing days, put your coaching cap on, and learn a whole new craft, and try and develop it and try and improve it and try and learn. And you have to be always learning, constantly learning. There's no, there's no time. If you're standing still, you're going backwards.
I know the obvious answer, and hear it a lot when this is asked to other people, but because you'll say, I'll take bits from each of my different managers I worked under. That's the obvious answer. But which one of your managers do you think you'll most be like style-wise that you can see? Or do you not know how it's going to work out now?
I don't think I'd be like any of them, to be honest with you. I would like to think so. And people say, we'll take this from that manager and that manager, and I will do that. And
you have to do that. Obviously, you'd be stupid not to.
Of course. But one thing that I will do as well, there'll be plenty of things, because I played under managers that I didn't think were particularly good. So there'll be a lot of things that I see them do that I will say, well, I'll never do that.
You learn the most.
Yeah, you can learn the most of people like that. Yeah.
So it's about kind of putting it all into perspective.
What do you think? I know it's bits of everything, but you might have coaches you played under who are very tactically good. But do you think more importantly than that is the man management? One of the children earlier asked about your best manager, and you said about Alan Pardew was a great man management. Do you think in this day and age that's probably the most important thing?
I wouldn't say one's more important than the other.
Because I think you'll be a good man manager.
Well, listen,
that's your character.
You need to have the players on side. If you don't have the players on side, then you can be as tactically good as you want.
Yeah.
But they won't do it for you because the players want to play for a manager. So you need that man management.
This is a lot of people who don't know too much about football don't understand that. They think you get paid to play. It's your job. But you're human beings.
It doesn't work like that. And the other side of it, you can be a really good man manager, and then you can go out on a pitch and you can set your teams up completely wrong, and you'll get hammered every week.
Yeah. You don't get a lot of time either to develop it.
You don't. So it's. I wouldn't say they're both as important as each other.
Right, last question's flown by. Jeffrey, do you want to do the honours? And it's a little bit different as well.
Tell us a bit about your love of music.
Well, I've played guitar for a few years now, probably about 15 years now. My mum bought me a guitar for my 18th birthday, and I've been playing since then. So, I've always loved music, listening to music, playing music. So, it's definitely something that. Well, having said that, since my little one's been born, she was 1 there a couple of weeks ago. I don't really get the chance to play as much as I'd like to. No. So.
It used to be kind of your wind down a bit after stresses of football, wouldn't it?
It did. But when you've got kids, the guitar doesn't really come into play. Your kids, when you go home from training or you go home wherever, Daddy, come on, let's go and play.
Do you still get a chance to listen to a lot of music?
Yeah, I do. I listen to loads of music, especially when I'm in the car. It's my time for listening to music, so I listen to quite a bit of music. I've got a real eclectic taste. I love a lot of the old folk stuff, all the Bob Dylan stuff from before. But there's a lot of good modern stuff out there as well that that I quite like listening to. I'm listening to a guy called Dermot Kennedy at the moment, who is excellent. He's a young. Well, he's not.
Did you write a bit about this in your new column?
Yeah. He's excellent, a Dublin lad, and I think keep an eye out for him. I think he's going to be. He's going to do really well.
Do you know what? Absolutely brilliant. Really, really enjoyed that. Thank you, Jeffrey. As always, good luck, Andy. Whatever route your career goes from now, media, coaching. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of coaching because you definitely have a passion for that. Came across, didn't it, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
So wish you all the best for that. And if you need any help with anything.
Thanks, lads. It's been an absolute
Give
pleasure.
us a job.
Thanks for inviting me on the Legends show, as it should be renamed.
Thank you very much. No, I really enjoyed it, buddy.
I think Andy's still waiting for a contract for FC Salisbury United and play a bit of football.
Oh yeah, we're going to rope him into playing. We'll have to get him a couple of beers, or I think Jaeger bombs maybe, and we'll.
I don't think my groins would hold on to that.
I knew he was going to throw in the groins, but we'll see what we can do. We'll work on him, Jeffrey. But no, thank you very much, buddy.
Cheers, lads.
All the best.
Thanks a lot.
And that's been the Inner Huddle. Hope you've enjoyed listening, and we'll be back soon with another show. Look forward to that. Thanks.
The Inner Huddle from Pezza Street Soccer.